Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. My name is Patrick, and this is the CIA Corner Show. Please do us a favor. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you're encouraging us. Thank you for like, shares, and comment. Want to comment about Tinubu and his court drama in the United States? I will explain. It's cool. Welcome back, please. Thank you for the like, shares, and comments. So Tinubu has been fighting tooth and nail to have his documents chained. What do you mean? Now, there's these battles in court to have his history, exposed, or is it exposed or make public. And he's been fighting not to have it in public because, according to him or according to his representatives, if it happens, it will cause damage to him, to his person. Put it that way. Okay. Now, but let's look at this. Let's look at it properly. In politics, people have the right, or put it this way, so when you come out in public that you want to contest for an office, now there's nothing like, there's no gray area. There are no restricted areas for each person. It is now a battle. Your opponent will look for things to tarnish your image so that your favoritism will drop. The same goes to the opponent. Hope you got me. Okay. The same thing will happen to the opponent because these politicians will be looking for, moving around. They will assign people, go and let's get that. Now, let me give you an example. Donald Trump. Remember, Donald Trump was being chased in court to release his tax records, and Trump refused. He was giving excuses here and there. But the politicians because the politicians were saying he needs to release his tax record because that this claim that he's a good businessman, they are all false. But Trump was, trying as much as possible to have his tax records, locked up. But someone out of the blue decided that it is good, it is for the public's interest to have those documents unveiled. And he did that illegally, and that guy ended up in prison. I think he went to court. I think he's in prison, one of those two. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, when his records were released, people latched onto that. Trump was not happy. Trump was not happy because that gave the opponent, tools to fight him. Anyway, at the end of the day, he won the election. So, what am I trying to say? So, politicians, they look for, they search for, things because they want to cause damage. That's how it works, in politics. So let's come back to Tinubu. So Tinubu has been fighting not to have those documents, put in the public because probably he has done things that he doesn't want the Nigerian citizens or the world to see. But there are some things that are out already, which has already damaged him a little bit. What do you mean? Let me explain. Now, it is on the public open. It is in the open, that he was once convicted. Let's leave the grammar out. He was once charged to court for drug problems. He went to court and he was asked to forfeit the money he had in court, which he did in the 80s, around $400 and something thousand. That's not a chicken change. So he had to forfeit those money for him to go free. Yes. But someone will ask, how is it that in America someone with drugs end up in prison but him was let off? Now the Nigerians guys, those in the party of in the Tinubu's camp will say, well, because he was not taken to court, he paid that fine. They call fine, 400 and something thousand. So that means they should not hold it against him. Well, that's a good point. But we need to also look at that he allegedly, let me use the word allegedly, was a drug merchant. Yes, one can make a mistake, and if you make a mistake and admit it, you'll be forgiven. But the damage, that stigma is on him. And if you notice, many of the international, the presidency and so they don't want to go close to him because some see him as radioactive. This will take me time. Well, let's continue. Some will see him as radioactive. That's why at the moment, if you see, he goes to countries where he moves around. Put it this way, he moves around. Some will say he moves around for photo ops, to take pictures. And you see the camp. I mean, his camp when he is going to another country. See how they push it, because they see it as a huge thing. You remember when he came to the UK, he sneaked in. When he came to the UK to see Prince Charles, and when he saw Prince Charles, he wasn't the king then. And when he came, he saw him. The pictures were blasted all over the social media. Oh, he's met King Charles. Let's not, man. He met Prince Charles, and Now remember, when he became the president, he wanted to meet Biden. The meeting was arranged. But at the last minute, the Biden's camp, they pulled out. Why did they pull out? Possibly because of, and it was during election, there will be politics. They'll be wondering, why will you meet an alleged drug merchant? That wouldn't have gone down well. And they quickly canceled the meeting. And when the meeting was, according to the news, the Nigerians, the Nigerian camp, they were begging. It looks like they were on their knees. Please, Biden, please. And the Biden camp, they refused. And that was an embarrassment. That was an embarrassment. So, now, let me put this again. When Starmer became the president of, the prime minister of UK, what happened? He quickly went to America. The doors were open. Yeah. Because those meetings, they are not just meetings those meetings are to tell the city, their people that yes, we've arrived, we are making an impact. The world has received us. So Tinubu is trying to hold on to his fight. He doesn't want his fight to be, because all his opponents are searching for things to pull him down or to nail him. Now let's go back to the court case. Now another reason we need to look at is, why is Tinubu trying to hold on to his files? Let me throw this there and let me hear what you do. You think, or is it possible that Tinubu was a spy? Question mark. Because normally a drug merchant, in his youthful days, should be in prison. So unless his lawyers were too good that they ended up having that agreement. Because for you to have such an agreement, to have your case sort of indirectly massaged, because if it was me, I'll be in prison. Probably I'll be coming out maybe in 20 years' time. Because you see the rich, let's go to Epstein. the corrupt financier, if you remember, I put the picture there. When he had his own case, what happened? At the back room, they had the deal, and he was let off. So it's possible that I'm putting these two together. It's possible that his solicitors or his lawyers or attorney, they were good for the judge to consider having $400,000 to forfeit this money in his account to have him released. So it might be possible that he was a spy. And because of that, so now let's see if, because he's fighting tooth and nail to have those files locked out, probably after his 8 years, and they might decide, okay, he's done his this thing, and maybe when he's gone, they will then decide, okay, let's release those, and by then it'll be too late for the opponents, to use. But let me come down here and say, in a normal, in other countries, that's emblem of a drug merchant alone, Tinubu will not be the president of a country. We do make mistakes. Now let me point out to George Bush. George Bush had the issue with alcohol many years ago, and his opponents got those details and used it against him, but he didn't stick. That's what politicians do. But having issues with alcohol and being a drug merchant are two different things. Two different things. And that's why I say, in other countries, Tinubu will never be the president of a country. But in Nigeria, anything goes. I'm not for him, nor against him, but I'm just trying to point out, I'm not biased, trying to point out facts here. Let's UK, whereby Nigerians love coming to the UK. If it was in the UK, if Starmer, by any chance, had dealings with drugs, he would never be a prime minister. Never. So let me leave you there. What do you think? Do you think that this exercise by Tinubu will be fruitless? Let's have your opinion. Opine. Make comments. I'll leave you there. Peace out.